Oh yeah, looks like it's recording now. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back and you walk me through this. So actually, let's go back and I'm going to do new again, and we're going to go filter. We'll find our VM. We'll check it. Next.
Yep, and we could auto assign.
Auto
That's
assign.
and we always want to do fin, and then we always want to do the correct storage policy.
So this would be the RAID 6, right?
Yep, exactly. So now, the only thing that we here it doesn't matter as much, but this determines which cluster it's targeted to. So we would definitely want to be mindful, for production VMs, where it's going. So that,
right, and that'll be information that's provided by the capacity team. So they will be the ones telling us which cluster is going in, and then that, dependent on that, we know which data store, correct?
Exactly. So obviously, if it's cluster 2 on the source side, it's going to be workload data store 1 on the target side.
Is that kind of a scheme that you guys have set up, or how does that work?
Yeah, that kind of happened just happenstance-wise, the way in which it works. So what you have is you have a workload data store in the first cluster, which means the second cluster is going to be named workload data store 1. And then, the third is going to be workload data store 2. So that's just another translation you have to keep in mind, when you look at the inventory.
So then on the DR side, cluster 1 is workload data store 1?
No, cluster 2 is workload data store 1.
Oh, cluster 2. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we see the normal workload data store, the one without the 1?
Oh, because the RAID policy doesn't apply to it.
I see. Okay. Because that's where the management VMs are, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's. Should I just choose one, just for this example?
Yes.
Okay. And then we go next.
Yep. In a sense, in a sense, by making this choice, you are specifically selecting a cluster and a ultimately resource pool as well.
Got it.
Because it's one for one. Yep. And then scroll down just a little bit, and
we always want to put this at 30, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What else?
Let's scroll down a little bit. And we do network compression.
Right. Okay. And then next.
Yep. Okay. Now, for this, we could choose like a temp recovery work group. Protection group.
So here's where the other guys have been telling me, when we add replication, you don't necessarily need to add it to a protection group, because that's when you guys do like prepare for the DR. That's when you guys assign the protection groups, but that's not accurate.
There might be a little bit of confusion about that. Meaning this, that there's a it might be smart to do it in other words, if you're doing this, right, this would be a good time to make sure it's captured in SRM, right? However, Jerry has a script that goes out and grabs the replicated VMs and sticks them into protection groups. So I don't know what happened to that script, who's in charge of it right now, who's using it, but that is kind of an outstanding item, I believe, that should kind of be transitioned, or somebody should kind of own that process, because you have a lot of replicated virtual machines, and I don't necessarily think that they're all in protection groups right now. So I
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of
It's because the thing is I mean, yeah, it's fine. You can tell me to put this one in temp recovery, but when we're actually doing this process, how are we going to know which protection group it should go in? Right? We're not going to. How are we going to know that?
Yeah, that's typically by name, right? So yeah, you'll see kind of VBS in the name. You'll see some, so there is, and most things go in general. But you're right. It is, it's not necessarily all that clear. So that's probably a decision point about where it's going to go. But let's place it in temp recovery and assume that the VMs you'll be working with have already been placed in a protection group.
Okay. Yeah, we need to get that ironed out though, so we need to make sure we bring that up because I want to make sure that the team knows what, exactly where stuff needs to go. Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll place it in here. We'll place it in temp recovery, and then next, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
So
then
finish.
so now let's filter for that VM and let's make sure that it is it's going, which I think it is. I see it right there. So right, it may take a little while, but okay. So now what we have is or what we will have is this VM will be in SDDC 3 and DR 3. And what will happen is it's in a protection group and it's being replicated. So this is the starting, right? So the first thing that we would, that we would do, and I'm wondering if we need to necessarily let this finish. I mean, obviously, we can, but here's what we would do. The first thing that.
So hold on, are we now going back to this where we need to stop replication?
Yes.
Okay, so let me. Okay.
Excellent.
So in this case, we would go into SRM and we'd search for this VM, and yeah, so we select this, and now what do we do?
Right. And what we would do is, in this particular case, well, the first thing we would do is actually go into the, find it in a protection group, and remove protection from the VM.
Okay, so that would be here, I think. Did we put it? Yeah, right here. So this is the first step. So we find it here, and then how do we remove protection?
Yep.
So you always want to do this step prior to stopping the replication, correct?
Yes. You could do it after, but it'll just cause this to show errors if you don't. So you see that kind of yellow warning sign that will be in place if you don't remove it.
Got it. So okay, we'll remove protection. This will remove protection. We selected virtual machine. Remove protection.
Yeah. But hold off before you do that. Do you want to let it finish so we have a more realistic?
Sure. I just didn't know how long this was going to take.
Yeah, it'll take a little while longer, another 5 minutes maybe.
Hey, Rich, can you hold on one?
Of course.
All right. Hey, Rich, sorry about that. I'm
No
back.
problem. No problem. You want to do a refresh? Let's see. How far-
Yeah. Still on initial sync.
Right. But if you open it up, we could see the percentage. Okay, good.
Looks like this will be done in just a minute or so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing. For sure. All right. So high level steps, we're going to kind of remove it from the protection group.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the big question. This is the only thing that kind of I'm stuck on is that when we, when we remove, well, I've got an idea. My concern was this. Let me voice it. That if we remove replication, we, in essence, destroy that that copy, right?
Right.
And so, I'm wondering how important it is to keep that copy.
It's well, you mean on the source side?
No, on the initial DR side.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, it's not right. Like after this is replicating, we should be going back to delete that, right? Because that's my last step right here is to go in and delete the old replication instance. I thought that's part of cleaning it up, right?
Yeah, but I think some of this will change a little bit, and you'll see. It'll be clearer when we talk about it as we go through the steps.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, incremental sync. I don't
Okay.
know what that means.
Okay, that's great. That means it finished the initial sync.
Okay. Should we go to the protection groups now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And we want to remove protection.
Yep. So this is step one. So this would be a screenshot.
Right. Okay. Remove.
Okay. Now hit again.
I'm sorry.
Oh, click that box to the left again, and then click the three dots one more time, and we're going to do remove VM.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. I didn't know it was two steps. Okay. That's good. So remove. Now it's gone.
Okay. Perfect. Now let's go to replications. And yep, hold on, don't hit remove yet. Here's what I'm suggesting. Let's first of all open it up. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. We want to switch contexts here, and we want to go to the DR side for this.
Okay. So that is here.
Yep.
You want me to go to SRM in here?
Exactly. It's got Udemy up there. It's a great site.
Yeah. Yeah. We get all the FTEs here. Again. It's pretty good. It's got a lot of content on there.
Yeah. Great.
So I thought you could go to the SRM, the DR side from this same place. Can you not?
No, it's actually it's a little different, right? So you do want to launch this operation from the DR site,
Okay.
right? Which I believe isn't this the 136.19? Isn't that the DR source? Or
Yeah, that's where we're going, right? So this is saying this SCDC is going here, 136.19. That's where we're going here.
perfect. Okay. So now, yeah, you can open that up. And I believe that should be the right one. If not, it's just a drop down. So.
Hold on, sorry, hold on 1 second. Okay.
Excellent. So now let's go into replications here and do incoming. And there it is. So now you click the box for it. And here's where an interesting discussion can happen right now. What I'm going to suggest is this, and you can make a decision. If you hit the remove, right, what's going to happen is it's going to delete the files on the target set, which means that there's no recovery in DR until the replication actually finishes. However, here's what's interesting. When you start the migration, you're immediately starting a second copy, but that second copy will take some time. So what I believe we should do here, and this is a question of process, not necessarily technology, but I believe that we should do a recover here.
Okay, so hold on. So okay, we're on the DR side, and this is basically the instance we have to stop replication on before we do the C2C, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying we don't remove replication, we recover.
Well, here's the thing. We could remove, but the consequences of that just means that the DR copy now is gone. So during migration, there's nothing to fail. There's nothing to fail back.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. In the time that the migration takes, and by the way, sometimes it could take 2 to 3 days because of these huge VMs. You're saying it's better to err on the safe side and maybe recover, so you have a DR copy in case something happens during the migration.
Yeah.
I think I got you.
So let's go with that methodology. So it just changes the process a little bit. So
now, but the question to me is then, so how long does it take to recover?
Oh, it's already just a minute or two. It's already there. So
okay, perfect. So you want me to hit recover, right?
Yep.
And this does not power it on, does it?
Well, we're going to uncheck the right. We don't want it to power on, and you could choose synchronize recent changes or use latest available data. It's up to you. It's not going to be, in other words, typically the data will be within 30 minutes, right? So,
what would you recommend? Just use synchronize recent changes?
Yeah, I think that is fair. Again, though, if it's a very high, if it's a database, high IO, VM, then I would probably use the latest data because you're going to, create more overhead in terms of, having then to, to kind of wait for this process to finish.
So would this maybe take a little bit longer?
No, use the latest data, available data would be a faster, more efficient way of doing this. And that's what I would use because again, this is not real time anyway, so it should be within 30 minutes, no matter what, worst case.
Okay, so you're saying use this one?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so use latest available data and then next.
Yep. Now the folder.
We're always in workloads.
Yep. It's just location.
Next. Where did we put it in? I don't recall. I think it's cluster 2, right?
Yes. Workload data store 1.
Do we want to select, I wonder if we can select the resource pool here. We should always select the resource pool, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go next. The network device, okay, that's fine. So finish.
Exactly, yes.
I want to show us a process bar. Oh, there we go. Cool. Okay.
Okay, excellent. Now, here's what we're leaving on this in this particular case. We are leaving a powered off VM in the DR site.
Right, and replication is stopped, correct?
Yes. In fact, Now, what we could do is go back, actually right here where we are, and now we should remove this from replication.
So now you're saying go back to the prod site?
No, we could stay right where we are if we, right where you were. And we could do a, a remove from here now. Okay, now graceful, always graceful.
Wait, but okay, so I'm not understanding. So I thought you said after that we recovered it, the replication had stopped.
Yes.
So why are we stopping replication? I'm not understanding.
No, we're not stopping replication at this point. Technically, we are removing this record from the HMS database and from the GUI. So because it's not going to be replicated anymore, it's already recovered.
Okay, so we want to gracefully stop replication here?
Yes. Now, the reason why I say gracefully and why it's so important is that if you don't say gracefully, it'll remove it from only the target, in this case, the target side, vSphere replication appliance, which means that the databases will not be in sync. So if you go to the source side, it's going to show that item there under replications, but on the target side, it won't. So that's a problem. You don't want these databases to be out of sync with each other.
Okay.
Two separate things. You want to keep them in sync. So now, let's see. Now, fresh here, it should be gone from here. See that?
Yeah, okay. I got it.
That's what the graceful was.
But the VM is still in the DR side as just a powered off VM, correct?
Yes, and I want to verify that with you. I want to show you that. So let's go quick and take.
Yeah, it's there.
Yep, perfect. And if you do properties, you'll see it's got hard drives and whatnot as well.
So, okay, that's good.
Yep.
So at that point, we can start the C2C migration, correct? And then we already have the steps to enable replication. Now, I think the last step is we need to do this cleanup, which I assume is just going to the DR side and just doing a delete from disk.
Right. Well, a couple of things. I believe that the C2C itself will leave a will leave a VM in place. Do you want to do that part now as well? It's a small VM, so it should go quickly, relatively speaking.
Okay. All right. You actually want to go through the C2C?
Well, yeah, because what'll happen is it will leave a it will leave a VM, or it will leave the original VM in place, renamed on the source. So in this case, on prod 3.
Really? I thought it cleaned it up during the whole process. Okay, but let's do it. Let's just do it. I mean, especially this is a tiny VM, right? So, okay, so let's go to HCX. And why don't I see HCX?
Oh,
here?
because that's right. That's the reason why we don't see HCX here is because of the fact that this is not an on-prem, right? So I believe we have to go to the HCX manager for this.
Yeah, we have to go. Well, hold on. Can we go here? We can go here, right?
Yes.
Migration. Okay, so let's see if we can find it.
Right. Right. Also,
So
you know what I'm thinking too?
Oh, no connections found.
Oh, maybe it's not set up for SDDC3?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Okay. So
Well,
look
that
at
sucks.
itself and look at the options for the VM. See if there's a migration option that see if there's an HCX option.
Where do you want me to go?
VM. Just on the VM itself, back in the original inventory for the. Oh wait! Did you see that? There was a second. Oh, that's interesting.
This guy?
Yes, I believe that is what's left over after migration.
Yeah, this is on-prem.
Yes. So exactly. So this is what you'd see, some powered off VM that kind of looks like this in effect on the on the source side after the fact. So this would be another step, is to ultimately remove from the source after, so in other words, after everything is in place, right? You want to go back to the source and destination, right? Meaning that, let's say, for example, let's talk in more specific terms. Let's say the target is SDDC 6 in this case. So after everything is in place on SDDC 6, you're going to want to go to SDDC 3 and remove from the source and target side of that pair. You're going to want to remove these objects.
When you say source and target, you mean source and then the DR side, correct? For that source.
Right. So, and they would both be 3, SDDC 3 in this case. And of course,
so you have to delete it in 2 places.
Yeah, it leaves a copy of the original in place.
I didn't know that. Okay, so hold on. I want to just let me jot this down real quick. Okay, hold on 1 second. Go to okay, I got it. I just jotted down those notes, and I'll put the detailed steps in later. So okay, so you're deleting the VM, the obviously the powered off VM, in the source vCenter, as well as the DR the DR pair for that source vCenter.
Yes.
What else?
Yep. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, very good. So now let's see. So we can't, all right. So the point being is that's fine. We're not going to do the migration right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume that the migration is done, right? You have the migration steps. And now we're going to remove from both sides.
Right, that's what I have right here, the last steps. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to put in here, validate that, migrated VM is online and replication is active and all that kind of stuff. I'll put that.
Right. Actually, replication is complete.
Replication is complete. Okay. And
right.
then
so
only then go to these.
Right. There's 2 replications that'll be complete. One of them is the, in this particular case, the first one's going to be the HCX replication and cut over. That's complete. And then the second one is, configure new replication. In this case, for this example, in SDDC 6 from source to target. And once that is complete, then, at that point, then these deletions can take place without.
Right. Got it. Is there anything else, Rich, that we need to cover? What I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously add all those details we just went through. I will have to go through the video that we made. By the way, let me know what's the link to get to this video that we're creating, and then I'll send this back hopefully today, and then you just kind of make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we're good to go.
Excellent. And of course, these removals, right, can also be one line PowerShell script. So you know, you know, if that, you know, you very easily that can be done. Obviously, you guys probably can do that in your sleep as well. So.
Right, right. Yeah, I think with time, we might see how, you know, we can automate this or bring a little, at least some automation to this process, so it's not so manual.
Right.
Okay. Is there anything else then? Anything else, Rich, that we need to add here?
No, I think that that we should be good. I think that this is a little bit more thoughtful process, meaning that you're going out of your way to keep an extra copy in the DR site.
Right. No, yeah, yeah. That recover portion is definitely different, and I think it's a good idea. I mean, just in case, you know, shit hits the fan for some reason during the migration, we have a copy.
Right, right. It's a much more conservative way of approaching it. Just so, again, if it takes X number of hours, you know, during that time, if there's any sort of a failure, then you have a copy right there to be powered on.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, let me put this together. Can you send me the link to where I can get the recording? You can stop recording now. But can you send me that link